Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my podcast. No cap, just raw. I never get tired of saying it. Guys, we are back with this series of Valued Girl. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I love this series ever since it started. It's been so impactful, so powerful. And we have had a recurring guest. She is no stranger here, the lovely Key. Welcome back, girl.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
You look great.
Thank you.
Um,
So do you.
Thank you. So today we are talking about something that's really, really interesting. Something that we as women and human beings can all relate to. And I think once upon a time, we all live in times where we are disloyal to ourselves. And what I mean by that is we live in our insecurities, we live in our fears, and living in your insecurities and in your fears makes you all sorts of things. It makes you toxic, it makes you a people pleaser, it makes you depressed. And a lot of people live this life until they go into their grave, and it's really sad to think that, but it happens. And we just want to talk about how we can be ourselves. What does it take, Key, to recreate yourself? Because some people will say, I'm born this way, I was born this way, I've always felt this way. What would you say to someone that is in the process of recreating themselves, so to speak?
So, the first step with recreating yourself is having a desire to. If you are living in a space that is at resistance to what you truly would like to be, you are going to have a desire to change that. So, that's the first step. Then there comes the awareness of what is it that I actually want to change about myself? What is it that I'm feeling? That takes a lot of internal work. That takes you asking yourself questions like, do I really believe in what other people see in me, or do I believe in what I see for myself? So you have to have that awareness. And then you have to have a process that helps you to recreate yourself. That means getting new behaviors, new practices, new mindset techniques. There has to be something that you're doing every day to cultivate that true expression of yourself. So some people may find that they always had a love for, I'm going to use this as an example, for art, but that got shut out by whoever came in and said, well, you can't draw, that's not going to make money. Some kind of programmed belief that the external world has given that person that stopped them from actually liking something. They might have that passion and they might decide, okay, well, this is something that I feel like I resonate with and I want to do, I want to pursue it, and I want to commit to that. Now I have to practice the art, I have to figure it out, and I have to explore and be gentle with myself while I'm exploring myself. So another step of recreating yourself is to allow yourself to not be perfect, to not have it all figured out, and to break down. There
Mm,
will be a breakdown when it comes to recreating yourself, breaking out of limiting beliefs, or breaking patterns. There will always be a breakdown. Then once you get to that breakdown, you get to the breakthrough,
mm,
handling things a different way. Am I going to allow myself to be triggered by things that remind me of my past? How do I work through those triggers? How do I take accountability of my own feelings? And that word is thrown out so much that sometimes it has this, for me, it's starting to have like this kind of like, oh, accountability, because it can be misused in many ways. People want you to be accountable, but they want you to just take care of yourself and not be responsible for what they've done, right? Or what kind of impact they've had on you.
yeah.
So you taking accountability, what that looks like, you taking accountability for your feelings is being like, you know what do I actually care about and what don't I actually care about? If I express this part of me, will I regret it in the future? So making it about you and your feelings and your responsibility over your feelings, that's going to help you to heal and not be triggered back into a stage where you feel like you're disloyal to yourself or
Mm,
you're abandoning what you truly would like to be.
right. there's two things I heard while you were talking. You said break down and break through. That is powerful, because it's powerful because the breakdown is the exposure, right? The exposure of what's really there, what's really going on. And I think that's very difficult for a lot of people to confront themselves, because if you're breaking things down, that means you have to go within yourself internally and be like, okay, this is an issue. This is not okay. I can't talk to myself like this. I can't blame myself for everything that happens. I can't look at myself in the mirror and think I'm beautiful today, and then tomorrow I think I'm hideous. So that breakdown, when you say breakdown, what does that look like? Is that really just confronting yourself, or is that really removing the layers of things that don't belong? What are we really
It's
saying
more,
down?
you know what? You can actually combine those. And it depends on each person because some people have to confront themselves. But for me personally, and what I would share with people is peeling back the layers. I prefer a more gentle process where you figure things out and you handle it softly. So I'm a person that is all about meditation, having a safe space, having time to hold not hold any thoughts. Actually, I don't always want to think about everything because those thoughts are not always my own thoughts. Those are responses to the world. Those are programmed beliefs and limited beliefs that people have taught me. What helps me to peel back the layers is to meditate, to go into my past and remember those moments of inspiration that actually made me feel happy and that actually made me feel good. And taking that into account and saying, you know what, I want to do more of that. How can I incorporate that into my daily life? I feel good when I go and help others, but do I always feel good when I overextend myself? No. And peeling back the layers will help you to see the extremes of either, of what you like and what you don't like. So I don't like to be taken advantage of, and I don't like to overextend, but I like to help people. Is it okay? And it took some time. You have to give yourself permission. I had to ask myself, is it okay that I provide the help in the way that I provide the help in? Right? Like, okay, I like making videos and I like sharing a prophetic word. I like doing tarot reads. And for a while, I had everyone else's beliefs in my head. Oh, that's bad. You shouldn't do it this way. This is more successful. This is that. I took that route and I lived it long enough to realize that is me abandoning who I really am and feeling like I don't trust myself. And so that's an onion that has many layers, right? It's how
Mm-hmm.
do I learn how to trust myself? How do I start my own beliefs? How do I let myself be? In this world, when we come into the world, we're taught certain things and we can't run away from that. I mean, I'm going to teach my child certain things. I'm going to give them the freedom to make their choices. But at some point, as adults, we have to take accountability for our own actions and peel those layers ourselves and say, I'm going to stand in who I am. I'm going to do what I love. And that's what I'm going to do. So definitely taking it day by day. The breakdown looks like journaling. It looks like maybe going to a therapist, getting over some traumas. It looks like actually being honest with what traumatized you. It could be small things that traumatized you that you haven't even addressed yet. Like, oh, I remember that one time where I slipped and fell into a pool, and you don't even realize that this has caused you to have resentment for somebody who didn't take it as seriously as you did. Like maybe you had a fear and you were pained about it and you expected someone to react like, oh my God, you're a survivor. And they didn't give you that reaction. And now you have some form of resentment. That's just an example. So you have to, look at those traumas, those instances that formed a belief, that formed an action, and list it out. The first step is to list it out. Sit in a quiet space. Say, what do I feel is holding me back? What do I feel is causing me to be unhappy? What do I feel? How am I abandoning myself today? How did I abandon myself yesterday?
Mm,
How do I plan on changing that tomorrow? I don't
mm,
want to abandon myself tomorrow, so what will I do? For me, if I ask myself that question, it's taking care of responsibilities. Oh my gosh. I cannot stand administrative work. I freaking hate it. But I have to accept that it is a part of me taking care of myself. So there is a balance. You can't always do everything you want to do. You have to do what's important and what's truly helpful to you. And taking accountability of those traumas and looking at how you abandon yourself, looking at what you should be more responsible for in your own life, that all goes into the breakdown of who you are.
mm. That is so good. And, you know, I think that a lot of people, like you said, I like what you said about the gentle approach. I like it because it's not my approach. Sadly, I spent so many years being so hard on myself and just, you know, putting this unrealistic pressure on myself that I had to get it like that. And then when I didn't,
Mm.
I had to find a way to punish myself.
Oh
So
no.
that is very painful. It's very sad. Uh, and of course, this can lead to self harm. This can lead to suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. And I spent so many years, you know, being suicidal and wanting to self harm. And thank goodness I never had the courage to do it. Thank God. But it's to say that that harsh and unrealistic approach, not being so gentle. So it just, everything you're saying is important because everybody has a way of approaching themselves, which is crazy because we don't know the inner dialogue that someone has with themselves and how you reprimand yourself. And is it even healthy to reprimand yourself? Is it a healthy thing to talk to yourself and say, oh, you did good? That's a good thing. No, don't do that next time, and things of that. And I just kind of want to get your perspective on that. That inner dialogue, was it always gentle? Or how did you get to a gentle place with your inner self or dealing with yourself? Or did you always have a gentle approach with yourself? And if you did, how? Because some people
I
don't.
did not. I did not always have a gentle approach. And internally, as a child, I would beat myself up, like internally with my dialogue. And so for a while, that became I'm disappointed. Like you feel like I always felt like I was supposed to have more. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like when your parents teach you like you have to be something in this world, I had a more dramatic, I guess, intake of that. I'm like, oh my God, if I'm not here, I'm nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was very triggering for me, and I hadn't dealt with that. I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't have the tools to understand that that is not a healthy way to treat yourself or talk to yourself. And so for years, I was very harsh on myself, but I was also, I don't even know like how I knew that I felt bad and there was just something that I needed to change within. And slowly, as you ask and you ask God for answers, you get those answers in different ways. So I was very angry because I thought I'm failing, I'm not good enough. But then when I started seeing like my hard work pay off, I'm like, okay, that is good enough. But then it's like I hadn't completely silenced that dialogue. So I would compare myself to somebody who's even more successful or have an impossible comparison. Okay, well, I have a full scholarship here, but what about Jimmy John down the street who has generational wealth? How the heck do I beat that guy? And like, it wasn't me being me, it was me trying to impress me with things that I can't even do yet. Like, I don't even know how to explain it fully and grasp it. It just came as a moment of epiphany. And that kind of moment comes with a dark night of the soul.
Mm,
Um, I struggle with depression by myself because I grew up in a place that's like, oh, well, you're too pretty to be depressed. I remember telling someone, oh, I feel terrible. I don't even want to be here anymore. They told me I was too pretty to be depressed. What do you mean I'm too pretty to be depressed? Depression is not based on what you look like, how you look. It's a feeling, it's a mind state. So I would have people that tell me, grow a tough skin, not grow a tough skin, Lord Jesus, grow a tough skin. And it only made me angry. Like, I don't feel, am I supposed to have the support? But also I didn't have that support within. So how could anybody come in and match that energy?
mm,
So it took years of peeling back the layers, learning about spirituality, developing my own relationship with God, developing my own trust with my intuition, and being softer. Like,
mm,
I've, I swear to you, like, it has not come until recently. I would say 20, around like 2018, 2019, no, not even 2018, 2019. I would say around like 2020, 2021, I started to change the dialogue. That's when I learned about that inner dialogue, and I started to
mm,
affirm, things about myself that I actually wanted to see. It's like, oh yeah, I know I'm successful in this way, but I don't talk about it because of conflicting ideas, right? Like, oh, well, if I was so great, then I would be here. Or be humble about it. You sound cocky because I was in an abusive relationship where he would call me cocky when I was confident.
mm,
So there's many layers I had to peel back from external abuse and a lack of emotional support growing up and a lack of an inner nurturing dialogue. I had to learn that and I had to implement that every single day. And I would say I'm at a space now where it's there. Like, I can feel okay. I've had times where I didn't want to be here. I'm like, what's the point? Like, I'm just going to do everything everyone else wants me to do and not feel happy within my life. Like, no, I can't accept that. So it all came when I questioned myself. If I've never talked to myself, I would not be able to have healed myself and
mm,
wanted to live and actually manifested a positive outlook in life.
mm,
There is a difference of like speaking positivity and having a positive perspective and knowing what to say and actually saying it to yourself.
mm. I love that too because it just makes me think of the fact that, sometimes the people that we grow up around, like as you're growing, you're a child and you're growing up and you're learning and you're developing, you have people around you. And sometimes you don't get to choose your surrounding. Unfortunately, you go to school, you could get bullied. I didn't enroll myself at this school. My parents put me here, and unfortunately, I was in a toxic environment. Whether you had a teacher that didn't like you, or you had classmates that were not very so kind, or you even had siblings or an abusive uncle or cousins that introduced you to things that you were never meant to see. And just bringing all that up to say, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Because I know there's a lot of people that kind of blame their parents. Well, I'm this way because my mom, she used to do this, and my dad was abusive, or this and this and that. Is it okay? Where do we draw the line of people playing a role in how we are, and you as a person, yourself dictating who you can be in this life or what you can become? Where do we draw the line in the sand?
Well, I really don't think we can say there is a point where people draw the line or they should know when to draw the line because there's so many ways that pain, anger, that resentment is expressed. And it causes different toxic traits. We can have the toxic traits of wanting to please the people that hurt us. We can also have the toxic trait of not letting anyone in. And also, we can have the toxic trait of abusing other people in the ways that we were abused. Um, but I don't know if there is an exact way that everyone will notice when to draw the line. I just don't see that everybody will be able to say, hey, I'm in pain. This is not right. Some people come into that later in life, or they might have an early epiphany. There's no real timeline where you can say, well, I'm ready to change now. Especially if you've gone through this in childhood. Say that, I've seen many people who've gone through foster care and who've gone through traumatic childhoods, toxic childhoods. They develop and they do toxic things, and they start gaining success or attention, something that makes them feel like, oh, I'm filling the void with how I am now, so why would I change? This is how I make my living. They might not even have that conscious thought of, I'm doing this and this causing me. It's like, no, they might actually have an inflated ego and say, this is what's owed to me, and why would I change how I act?
Mhm.
Why would I change how I act when I'm getting everything that I want? This actually makes me more mature. Being pained and abusive and not caring, being blunt, saying it how it is, those kind of traits where it's like, it's not that healthy of an expression, but people think that it makes them more mature. It makes them, I feel like it's called toxic spirituality, toxic maturity. I'm just making stuff up right here, but that's the best way that I can describe it. And I've seen it so many ways where, oh,
Right,
you haven't been through what I've been through, so
right.
I know what I'm talking about. You can't, like, it's like you can't get to that kind of person. When does that kind of person draw the line? Sometimes they never do.
Mm,
Sometimes they just go through their life and they just do what they continue to do because it's getting them what they need to get. It's getting them the type of support from other people that are like that. And you just have that group of people who just won't come into self realization. I think the desire, even if we feel like, we've had traumatic parts of our childhood, the desire is actually created within our childhood. So somewhere in our childhood, like a person like me and you, or anybody who's watching a series like A Valued Girl, you have some point in your childhood where you thought about it, right? Where you thought about, I want to do right. I want to live right. I want to be good. I want to feel good. You've had that thought. You've had it cultivated. Some people have not had that at all, so they're not going to change until some someone breaks down those barriers and say, well, look, you're hurting people. So what? I've been hurt. You
mm,
know, maybe they don't have the empathy. They have to develop that empathy, but they might not. I can't really speak on there being a certain line. For me, it's been kind of like a process that all came together and that led into each other because I wanted to do better. I wanted to feel better. I didn't want to be toxic. Anytime I did something bad, even till this day, if I argue, I'm crying right after because I don't like arguing. I really don't. And I'm just like, you never know when life's going to end. And I don't want to be thinking about the sadness or the bad things that I said and the people that I hurt, or I don't want to hurt anybody,
mhm,
And so I feel that naturally. So I can draw the line and be like, you know what, I'm wrong for that. I really need to change my reactions. I need to walk away or do whatever, But it comes with having a certain personality type and having a certain chemistry within your own brain. There's people who are born into terrible situations and it makes them have more empathy, but not everybody is born with empathy. And I think it
mm,
takes empathy to realize I'm drawing the line here. I don't want to hurt anyone.
mm. And I like that. I think, when I think of drawing the line, I also think about how, we not living in the past, leaving the past alone, but also being strong enough to admit to yourself, okay, yes, this did happen. Um, you know, just throwing an example out there, maybe somebody can relate to this. okay, yes, my uncle did sexually abuse me, or yes, my cousins were, um they were toxic. Yes, my siblings, bullied me, or whatever the case might be. But being strong enough to admit that, so that you can move on from that. And when I kind of think of drawing the line, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about how drawing the line really allows you to move forward and stop living or resurrecting the dead, because every time you think of the past and you start to cry, and then you think of, you're going to get in a mode of self pity. And when people don't, you know, give you the reaction to what happened to you, you're like, you don't understand me. I was hurt. And so did this to me and did that to me. Then this is somebody who hasn't drawn the line. But now hearing you say what you're saying, it just makes me, now I understand what drawing the line could actually mean. It could actually mean moving away from the past so that you can be your true self. The self, the divine self that God has always created you to be. And it's crazy to even say that too, Key, because it's like, how do we go through life not being ourselves? What making us so afraid? Like, it actually, if you really think about it, it actually is funny, because it's like, if you're not being yourself, life actually makes no sense. What do you think?
That you just hit the nail on the head. If you are not being yourself, life does not make sense. That's where those feelings of, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm purposeless, that's where that stems from. Not being yourself, not living in your authentic nature. Um, and I say this, and I hope I'm talking to sensible people who, because I always think about the other type of people that be myself. Let me go out and be like a Jeffrey Epstein or something like that. I'm like, no, not you, not you. Let me go be a sociopath, psychopath, serial. I'm not talking to y'all. Go find help for you. I'm talking about people who genuinely just want to develop a purpose. When you are not being yourself, there is a sense of limits. There is a sense of owing something to someone. There is a formula there that was placed and someone put so much emphasis, or even your own reactions to it, and your own want to protect yourself and understand the world, that might have put so much importance on not doing this thing anymore. I don't want to be embarrassed, so I'm not going to do my hair in a way that I actually want to do it. It's like, actually think about it. What are you doing your hair for? Are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for the approval of others? If
Mm,
you are doing it for you, you're not going to be embarrassed. Who cares what anybody else says? And that's also something that can be stemmed back to, oh, well, was this person ever bullied for something they were wearing? Was this person ever bullied or abused for something that was physical? And maybe they haven't healed that completely to realize that as an adult, if you walk around with your hair a certain way and somebody says something about it, so be it. So what? It's not them, it's you doing what you want to do. So once again, we're kind of in that cycle of recognizing the root cause of what you truly want to do and why you're not doing it. Um, so I'm saying that because I really want people to realize it's not worth it to live a life of safety. Sometimes you do something you actually want to do and you realize nobody is judging you for it. It's not as bad as you thought.
mm,
Okay, you maybe sometimes it's even us projecting our own problems and projecting people to be judging us, and we're not realizing we're presenting something to be judged. For me personally, it's finances. I'm always upset about finances. Why? Because as a kid, everybody put emphasis on money. Maybe they put emphasis on other things, but my fear of being poor and my desire to be rich is actually what magnified that within me. I can look back to thinking blaming my parents at some point when I was a teenager, blaming them. Oh, it's them. Everybody put emphasis on it. They did this. They say this and this and that. It's all about money, material. But really, when I was a kid, I was watching all these shows where the kids were rich, and I'm like, I want to be like that. So in my mind, anything that had to do with finances was like magnified, right? It's always sticking out to me. So to this day, well, I've changed it recently, but I realized over the years when I'm talking to my family, talking to my dad and my mom, I'm talking about money with them all the time. I'm like, damn, I'm just feeling this same feeling of like not having enough, not being able to enjoy my life because I really do believe that money is, at the top priority in my life. I'm like, well, I can't really, oh, I got to go and I have to hurry up and go get a job that's just going to supply me with money and just kick my business to the side because that's going to give me that instant gratification of telling my mom and my dad, oh, I got a job that's paying me such and such while I'm miserable and I feel purposeless. I feel terrible, but it's making sure that I can tell the story of I'm doing well. Don't worry about me, but I'm not happy. What do I really have to lose by pursuing my dreams? If I
Mm-hmm.
can always go back and get a job, I'm really not losing anything if I pursue what I actually want to do and what how I want to live, right? And so I want people to take that as their own inspiration to realize people get through things all the time. People get through divorces, people get through homelessness, people get through being at the bottom all the time. They listen to their intuition and they stick to God's plan and they overcome all of these obstacles to be happy and successful in their own right. If you have the wherewithal, sorry, a little
Mm-hmm.
gassy first trimester, but if you have the wherewithal, you have the will, you have the curiosity, you have the desire to be successful, to be happy, you will find that success. It won't look like it won't look like what I tell you to do. It won't look like what mom told you to do, dad told you to do. It won't look like what, the person who you're putting on a pedestal told you to do. It's going to look like who you actually are. It's going to take you some time to go within, look at these moments. Oh, I remember in music class when I really had fun writing this. Guess what? No one's stopping you from writing the music. No one's stopping you from creating that art piece. The art piece might be a masterpiece to someone. You might start something, but you have to do it in a way that's aligned with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not, you sacrifice your happiness to live a mediocre, unhappy, or subpar life that everybody else is proud of, but you're just living it.
Wow. And that right there speaks volume. It's so loud and clear because um, I think a lot of people get stuck in that in between spot um, where they get to a place of knowing themselves, but then also still living for others, like you said. So they're just living, and it's almost like being an autopilot, so to speak. And I think even being there, that's some progress, but you still won't feel self fulfillment in a sense because, yeah, you may know who you are, and there is the confidence, but I also think that knowing who you are and the confidence also goes along with purpose. What you wanted, and I feel like purpose, of course, and I don't want us to deviate from what we're actually talking about, but purpose in the sense of knowing what you were put on this earth to do. What's that one thing you can do that you're so passionate about, and it actually takes care of the bills, pays your bills, finances the life that you want to live. That is truly a blessing there. And like you said, people overcome things all the time. There are people out there who have overcome some of the worst things in life, and they're living the life of their dream. They're living in purpose, and they're like, I love what I do, and I make money from this thing that I love to do, and I know it's my purpose. God put me on this earth to do this very thing. That right there, and a lot of people say it's a rarity to be in that place. And I beg to differ. Um, and I guess that's the last thing I will ask you because I feel like it kind of summarizes what we're saying about recreating self. because I do believe recreating self does lead you to a place of purpose, essentially. I do feel like it
Mhm.
leads you into that place of, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life because this is what I was created to do. That is what is supposed to actually happen when you become self. Divine self actually leads you naturally and organically into the purpose of life, the purpose of your life. And so,
Mhm.
just tell me in summary, how do you feel about that? And do you feel like you're in that space? And if you're not, why not?
I feel like I am in my divine purpose. I feel like I denied it a few times. I get scared. I still have that part of me that's like I want to listen to other people and make what they're pressuring me to do. Not like actively pressuring, but I want to make them proud. Like I want to make them feel safe. I still have that. But I am now in a space like over the last few weeks, I've just realized like just do what you're doing. Just do what you're doing over and over and over. Like to myself, just keep doing what you're doing what you're doing. You've seen success with it in the past and you can continue to see success with it. How do you expect to progress if you don't give this energy? Um, so I've been recreating myself from wanting this safe space of everyone else feels happy and they're like, yay, you can do this. And then when I'm in that, even when I'm making everybody happy, I still feel discomfort, right? You're not going to get away from being uncomfortable and people still judging you. So when you're recreating yourself, the priority is to actually just be happy and do something that you can share with the world and not worry about people who are going to judge you. That's always going to be there. Don't worry about things being hard. Just keep your eyes on the process and keep your eyes on the reward and the goal and the bigger picture. And that's going to bring you so much more peace, so much more happiness, so much more excitement than sitting in your own mind. And can you believe that you own your own mind and you have these visitors in here telling you to do this, do that? Sit in your own mind and say, I want to think about this. I want to do this. And it stimulates an inspiration for another idea. Oh, I want to do a video. I should do a video on this. Oh, I should make this cake. I should do this. Oh, and it keeps growing and it keeps growing the more you give it more momentum. And you start seeing, oh my God, it's not just a moment of inspiration, it's a path. I can keep walking on this path. I will be taken care of. If I was taken care of on paths that I didn't even belong on, why would I not be taken care of on the paths that I'm actually belonging on? And just dealing with it, having the resilience to deal with things that I would have dealt with that I don't like anyway, but dealing with things within a realm that I actually like. It's
Mm,
even more rewarding, you know? We can't run away from problems and hardships and adversity, but we can be resilient towards it and it can be in a realm that we actually care about, right?
that is so good. And we could go on and on, guys, talking about this because I believe that this topic is limitless because everybody has a method that works for them. So we could literally be here talking all day about recreating self because everyone has their own recipe of what it takes to recreate self and get to that divine self, the person that God destined you or predestined you, I like to say, to be. Naturally, He knew who you were. He formed you in your mother's womb, which is crazy because us being here, you, myself, anyone else is listening, it really is a miracle. You actually fought your way through to be to get into your mother's womb. So that's a whole nother topic. We're not talking about science, but it's true.
And the fetuses be fighting inside the womb too. Jesus. I can feel them kicking and then screaming and punching. Yep. Mm-hmm. You fought to be here for sure.
Congratulations, Key, on The new edition
Thank
is soon coming. Congrats, girl.
you.
So there you have it, guys. Let us know if we need a part two to this topic of recreating self. And thank you so much, Key, for coming on and gracing us with your wisdom and just sharing your vulnerability in your heart. And I'm so thankful to have you on here each time.
Thank you. I appreciate the topics. I love what we're doing. Y'all, you have to drop some comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Give us some suggestions. Oh Lord, tongue tie. Give us some suggestions. I still said it. Give us some suggestions. Um, let us know which gems that you find to be important to you at the time. Subscribe, and share these videos. We are putting our all into this. We love it.
We love you guys. And please check out Key. She's on YouTube, she's on Instagram, and her brand is Loud. It is it's loud because the message is real and it's true. Check out Key to You. She's on Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
Yes, I am. I'm on TikTok as well. Key to you as well.
See, so it's the brand is the same all across the board. She's on YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. She also has her podcast, Mindset Mondays. And you guys go ahead and check it out. So, guys, thank you again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time on another edition of No Cap, Just Raw. Bye, guys.